Hey guys, what's up? It's Tom. Haven't made a video in a while, so I'm gonna do a little tutorial in VB.net. Just switched over to it, and I've made one thing in it for a class, so I'm gonna learn more about it as I do some simple tutorials using what I know from VB6. So some things are different in VB.net. There's a lot more functionality, a lot more like already made like stuff in the toolboxes and whatever. I don't really know a lot about the differences. I usually just find them as I go. I know setting the location of something like a picture box, as you can see on the screen, is right here, is a lot more annoying. What was that? A lot more annoying than VB6. I can't just say the top equals this and the left equals this. It's so we have a little bit of code in here right now. It's dot location equals new point, and then it's Cartesian like left and top, what they equal. Anyway, so this tutorial is going to be about making a simple Galaga game. And by Galaga, it's like that arcade type space shooter where you're the ship and going forward in space constantly. You can move left and right and maybe a little bit up and down. I'm not going to put up and down in. And you shoot other spaceships that are coming in, and while shooting, you shoot them while they shoot at you, and you dodge stuff when they charge at you or when they shoot at you and stuff like that. We're not going to make it too complicated. I'm not going to put any power-ups in. Once you have the code for this, you can pretty much add in anything you want. So what I have so far, actually we'll start with the beginning. So I'm using Visual Studio 2013. It's pretty nice. I do have some issues with it sometimes. You can get it for free through DreamSpark, which I have a DreamSpark tutorial video from a while ago. But yeah, to make a new project, you go File, or you can do File, New, Project. We're going to do a Windows Form application. Make sure it's under Visual Basic, Windows Form. Name this whatever you want. It's going to save it inside your documents, inside of a projects folder in Visual Studio 2013. You can change that if you want to as well. And you're going to say OK, and it's going to create it for you. Mine takes a while, and that's the big thing I don't like about Visual Studio 2013. Mine used to run fast. Now it takes, well, this one loaded in like maybe a minute to make a project. I've had it take 30 minutes before. I don't really know why. I think there's something you can see like why it's doing that, but it's a huge delay. Anyway, so once you make your project, you're going to start out with this form without this box being here and without this timer. It's just going to be a little form. It's probably going to be smaller than this, like that. Alright, so I'm going to go through what I have it set up to do right now, and you guys can set it up this way as well, so that we're on the same page. So click on the main form, don't double click it, you'll go to form load, it'll make form load for you. Well, first we can do is rename this. This is actually going to be the game form, game, or whatever you want to name it. FRM is the standard prefix for form. Picture box, I came up with PB, and then whatever the name is, so it's just not as long, but you still know what it is. The text, I'm not going to have any text on it. It's going to be maximized. I don't really want text up there. And then so the Windows state, like I just said, it's going to be maximized, so make sure it's maximized. This is going to adjust to the person's screen that's playing it. And you'll see what I mean by that, but it's going to maximize to the window, and once it's maximized, it's going to draw the pictures according to the form's dimensions. I think that's all you really need to I changed it to center screen. It's gonna start at maximized anyway, but I just like to make sure. I think that's it. Now for to get a picture box, click on Toolbox and type in picture. You can either type into the search, or if you just type it in without clicking anything, it'll just highlight it. But if you do it up here, there it is, picture box. You can double click it, press enter, you can drag it, whatever. I already have one, so that's why I deleted it. The name is PVSpace, picture box space, and I'll show you what that does. What that picture holds. Let's see. For image, mine says none. Obviously, there's no image in there; it's blank. If we click on the search, I put in a picture. This is very zoomed in. This isn't what it's gonna look like. I just searched something like space HD pictures on Google. I found a really high resolution picture. Turned it to be taller than wider, more tall than wide. And I'll explain the why later when I go into the code. But so pick a picture, do the project resource file. That should be like, it's just gonna come up with this, and it's automatically gonna be ticked on this, and you just say import. Anyway. Alright. So yeah, so it's just the project resource file. Yeah. So I'm just gonna cancel it so I don't break anything. All it does is put it inside your resource file, so you can access it in your code. This should be all done now, the design. Well, for right now it's done. This is just getting the... Alright, so what we just did was set up a space background. With this code, if I start it, it's taking the space picture I have and it's scrolling it. I can make it scroll however fast I want. It's a pretty good picture. The picture I used is 9,000 wide, 9,000 pixels wide by 16,000 pixels high. It's a very high resolution picture. It's a JPEG, so it's kind of we lost some quality, but it's still good enough for what we're doing. This is 1920 by 1080 screen, 1080p screen. Very high quality picture on this. Anyway, so this will keep going even if we hit the top of the very top of the picture. It's gonna keep going, so I'm gonna stop it, and we'll add that in while I'm talking, while we go over this. So what this does is PVSpace is my picture box right there. The image equals will be it's just how you access it. The resources, which is if you import it to the resource file, it should be in there, and then it'll actually give you like options to press. So I say dot, and I only really have one picture. I don't know like culture and resource manager are, but I'm just gonna pick the picture I put in, and that's the picture is now. Now it's setting the location of PVSpace, that picture box. Like I said before, location in VB.NET is a little weirder since I'm used to VB6, but you just make a new point. So on a Cartesian plane, 0, 0 is actually the top left of the form, top and left corner. So what I'm doing is setting the location to be 0, which is all the way against the left hand side, and since the top is 0, I have to do negative 16,000 above that because the picture is 16,000 high, and I'm adding the height of the picture. What that does is, so it's 16,000 above the 0, 0 spot. So that means right on the edge, right above the screen, like right up at the top, is 0, 0 right here, is the 0 plane. 0, I guess 0, just 0. And right above that is where the picture starts if I don't add me.height. Adding me.height as the height of the screen of the form onto that, so it actually starts down here, and so yeah, so it'll actually be down here, and then negative 16,000 plus me.height up. Yeah, that's just how it works. I don't know how to explain it better. You want the width to be the width of the form. It's maximized, so that'll adjust to the screen size, and the height to be 16,000. I could have made it before it, but it all loads fast enough that you don't really notice it. Alright, so the timer, to get a timer, it's actually just called timer. Right there. I won't edit it. You just drag it and put it anywhere, and I'll put it down here. I renamed it to timer forward with enabled equal true. That's just for testing purposes. I'm going to put a splash screen on, which is like a default load up screen. An interval is like 100 by default, and I set it to 1. That's like how many calculations it does, how fast it runs through the loop. A timer is pretty much a loop that's constantly running while it's enabled. So each time it ticks, which is around 1 millisecond, the lower the number, the more fluid it looks because it refreshes faster. 1 is the lowest you can go. 100 is kind of slow-ish. 1000 is like update every 1 second, so that's really slow and like it's not fluid at all. Anyway, so this sets the location to be a new point where the left is still left. I still want it to be at the 0, all the way to the left hand side, but the top will be the top of where it is right now plus 1, so it's gonna move down because the 0 point. Now let's see, yeah, plus 1, so it's gonna keep going down until it reaches part. So what I said before, if how it doesn't equal is this, if the top doesn't equal 0, then run that. Maybe I want to end that. Alright, so while the top doesn't equal 0, then we do that. And since it's going by 1s, it's gonna hit 0 and not do it. I'm trying to think. If we run it right now, once it hits the top, once the top of it hits 0, we're not actually disabling the timer forward. It might actually just stop there. It should stop there. But just to be safe, if it does equal 0, we're just going to set it to false. Alright, so while it doesn't equal 0, well, not while, but this is pretty much a while loop. This timer forward tick timers are. If the top does not equal 0, move it down, which is, move it down by 1. Move it down by 1. If it does equal 0, disable the timer. And we'll make it like load like a final screen kind of thing, or make a boss appear or something like that later, maybe. The speed of the space background moving is determined by the +1. If we play +5, it's going to move a lot faster this time. Look how fast that's going. The faster you make it move, I think the worse it looks. Let's see. It's kind of jittery. And that's a good point right there. Since it's going by 50s, and the height of the screen, so it's 16,000, which is divisible by 50, but then you're adding on this me.height, and since my height, it's not exactly 1080 pixels because I have this taskbar at the bottom. It doesn't load past the taskbar. It's not going to be divisible by 50. So what I would suggest is keeping it at 1, since it will work. That is kind of slow. We'll make it 2. Let's see. It depends on what you want to, how fast you want the game to go. I'm trying to think how fast this would look. I think that's pretty good too. It's divisible by 2. I actually just saw vertical sync. Not vertical sync. I saw screen tearing as it went. So the faster you go, the worse it can be as it tries to update it. Let's see. Where's the top? Where can the top go? If the top is greater than -10. You should stop it pretty fast that way to not update every time. Oh wait, less than. I want to stop when it's greater than. Alright, so the 200 skipped -10 and some other parts until I got to that point. But yeah, we're not gonna have. I just wanted to make sure that stops. 2 should be fine. It's definitely gonna hit in there. We could actually just make this -5 so we get a little bit more space. Alright, and you got the space background working. And you can't do anything with it. So you might be thinking, well, that's cool, Tom, but Galaga has character, your ship. Where's the ship at? And I'd say, calm down. We're making it right now. So here's the ship. You can make it however big you want the ship to be. This is the background, so this can be small. It's gonna be reshaped anyway. Give me more room. Now for the ship, this is gonna be fixed. I'm not changing the size of the ship. I guess someone on a small screen. I think the smallest laptop screen I've seen is like 13, maybe 11 inches. This is still small on that. I'm not gonna worry about adjusting to that kind of adjusting the character. So what we do next? PB. Let's say main. Oops. I did it again. There we go. PB main. The image. Anyway, put an image into the resource file just like we did before. Yeah, put an image into the resource file just like we did before. We don't really have to go through. We might have to go through and do this image again. I just set image to be it. To be that. Pretty easy. Set the size mode to stretch image. Oh, and also I think I forgot to do that for the PVSpace. Do that as well. What that does is make it so if I don't have stretched image, it's putting the exact like pixel, like how big the thing is. What this does is just scale it to the size of your box. It's a little big, I think. That's decent. That should be fine. Now, before we move into the code, let's add 2 timers. Oops. I only added 1, I think. Yeah. We'll do another one. You can double click if you want to do a whole bunch of them. Alright. The first one. Timer left. Timer right. TMR is the default is like the common prefix for timers. Set the enable to false. Make sure it's 1 to make it more smooth. And now let's go to the code. This one, delete. I accidentally hit enter a couple times, so we'll get rid of that. Alright. Timer left. Alright. What do you want to do when it makes it, when you press, when you make the left happen is pv main dot location. Alright, so you want the left to be, so this is also where you can make the ship move left and right faster or slower depending on how you want it to be. I'll make it, let's see, I tested this before. And you don't want the top to move, so just set it to be the top still. Now inside of form load, pv main dot I'm trying to think of where I saw it before. I'm trying to make it so it's always on top. Must be something, it's probably a way to do it. Nope. Go to the top. I like to sometimes look through these. Bring to front. Alright. So when it loads, you want the location to adjust to the screen size. So we're gonna do, where's the left side inside? It's gonna be, let's do me.width divided by 2 minus pb main dot width. And for the y-axis, we want to do me dot height minus pb main dot height minus 20. Alright, so I'll explain that if you don't understand what the calculations are for. So me dot width divided by 2 will get you to the center of the screen, and if you say minus the width again, oh, I should do minus the width divided by 2. Alright, so it's going to go to the center of the screen, then it's going to minus, so move to the left, so the left is going to move to the left half the width of the picture, so it'll be exactly center in the form. And then the y will be the bottom of the screen, that's what the height is, because 0 is at the top, minus the height of the picture, so that means the bottom of the picture will be right at the bottom of the form, minus 20 just for a little offset. So you're not right against the bottom. You can increase this if you want to be offsetted more. I think that's all we need to do for that. We don't want people going off the side of the screen. So we're going to add in, say hit caps lock, pb main dot left greater than equal to 0. Then. Oops. Don't want to do that. Keep pressing the wrong stuff. Alright. Now, these timers won't get activated until we finish up both of them. And until after I finish up both of them, then I'll implement them being started with keys. Right. That's a new thing also in VB.NET instead of VB6. you can actually say dot right, dot bottom. Usually it's only left and top. In PVSpace you have to do dot left plus dot width. Now you can just say dot right. Very nice. It's very nice. That just gets the position, not how big of the picture is. That gets where the right hand side is. It's, less than equal to not PB, me dot width. The 20 is, you see when you take your cursor and you go to the left hand side, the right hand side, you actually go out of the screen until that, you can actually go out of the screen. The 20 accounts for that, because your picture will do the same exact thing. Main dot location equals new point PB. Oh. PB main dot left plus 2.5 PB main dot top. Oh, top. All right. And a little thing I like to add in, I learned from Legend of Blanc, which is my other game I made. I used to have a lot of trouble with you hitting a tree or something, and if you kept moving left and right and pressing up a lot or whatever direction into the tree, you'd actually get into the tree. What this does is, if you are at the side of the screen, it's gonna move your character the opposite way to counteract it. Yeah, I like to just put it in nowadays just to make sure. Alright, so I think we got all that stuff done. If you run it, you won't be able to move it still. I'll show you. Ooh, and actually, if we test this, it's still inside of the bottom of the screen a little bit, so I'll fix that. Also, you can notice the black background of the picture. I'm not gonna go into Photoshop or GIMP or whatever and try to make it transparent. You guys can do that. I'm just trying to make this pretty simple, so I don't have to edit a lot of stuff. There's something PV main dot height 50. Alright, that's decent. Oh, the picture's moving really slow. This might be a little intensive for your computer to run. You can see usage. This is really big. The CPU usage is like 50% trying to run this. So this is Galaga, using 12% of the stuff, 400 megs of memory right now. That's pretty, it's a good amount. You can see it's trying to run this thing. We make it 1. I'm not trying to be memory efficient or efficient at all. That seems too slow. So yeah, we'll make it 2 again. Or 3. Let's try to make it go faster. Alright. Yeah. Okay. 2 again. I don't know. I just can't decide on one. What is this? Okay. Anyway. So now we're gonna add in our own subs, sub functions, private sub, form 1, key down, sender as object, e as system, I think, dot windows dot forms dot key event args. That's what we want. Handles, key down, me key down. Alright, and there's your sub. Now, with the key down, if whenever you press the key, it's gonna run this. Just and check stuff. Do whatever it's in it. Do whatever it's in the sub. If E is the key event arg dot key code, yeah, it's key code, equals keys dot E. No, I don't want E. A. Then so A, I'm using WASD controls, so A and D would be left and right respectively. So A is left, so timer left dot enabled equals true. If E dot key code equals keys dot D, then timer right dot enabled equals true. Now we'll be able to make another one. You can also just copy it from the one above, but I like to practice remembering this thing. Key up. The name of this doesn't really matter. It's always, it doesn't, the name of these things don't matter as long as you have the handles. It's just going to call this key up. Sender as object. E as system dot windows dot, spelled it wrong, windows dot forms dot key event args. Handles. Me key up. Alright, now we can copy. The easiest part of this is to make this a lot easier. We can copy this to there and make sure you make these false. So when you let off the key, it will set these to false. And I can show you these in action. I made it very, very slow. Speed that up. I thought it'd be faster than that. We're not going to change the other values until we get these sorted out. Now if I hit D, I go to the right. If I hit A, I go to the left. I'll still make that faster, that's just too slow. 15. Oh wait, that's not 15, that's 15. That's kind of stuttery. They're both at 1. 15 might be a little too much to jump. That's such a big screen. Because if you tap it, you can see it just moves over 15 each time. Now when I hit the edge, it kind of moves out. Oh, I'm slowly sinking into it. Oh, I don't think I'm going any farther in. Yeah, I'll fix that once we get out. We might just not make it move back. It works in some cases. Same thing. Yeah, we'll just get rid of that. If statement. We'll just get rid of the else. I'll make them 10, so you're not skipping over as much. I liked 15. I don't know. I'm trying to make it move fast without looking bad. Alright. Anything else we wanted to do? We can just make sure PV main to image equals my resources dot Galaga. Alright, and I think that's gonna be it for today's thing, like lesson. Probably next time we're gonna implement shooting, probably with space. Yeah, it stops there. I probably have to minus a little bit more because you can see the right hand side kind of sunk into the outer edge a little bit. Let's see if it works over here. It's gonna sink in around around 15, because the screen's not visible by 15, so it's gonna hit a little bit. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't worry about that. That's very tiny. I'd like the offset to be a little bit more. And yeah. That's it for today's, not today's, this video. I'll work on getting the bullets put in next time. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I get emails whenever someone comments, so I check my email very regularly. Yeah, so like, subscribe, comment about anything, stuff like that. We'll see when the next one comes out. I don't really have a date yet. Anyway, thanks for watching, and good night.